Good afternoon, everybody. Back at it with the Give and Go podcast, doing player interviews in this beautiful May Day, right before Memorial Day weekend. I hope everyone has a safe and healthy Memorial Day holiday. We're starting these interviews off with soccer, my favorite sport. Sorry, basketball players. With Howell High School junior Jade Vieira. Jade, thank you for taking time out today and
Yeah,
joining me.
thank you. I appreciate it.
And you play basketball too for How High School too, right?
I
Correct.
do. I
So
do.
multi-sport athlete. So first, how's your spring going?
Awesome. Just keeping it busy with soccer and everything. How are you?
Busy with work. So I needed to take time out and start doing these interviews again, so to distract me
Yeah,
from work. But
awesome.
so we'll start, we're going to talk mostly about soccer. We'll touch a little bit basketball too, since you play that. But first, you committed to Colgate, correct?
Good. Yes.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Let's go back to when you were a little kid. How old were you when you first started kicking the soccer ball?
Yeah. So I started at 5 years old. So pretty young, I guess, or normal age.
Yeah, yeah, 4 or 5 for soccer. Um,
Yeah.
part of that where the group of kids just run back and forth piling the ball. So,
Yeah. There's no structure. It's kind of just like running around, seeing what you can do.
did you start at Howell? Howell Soccer Club?
Yeah, that was like my first travel team. I started at Pilanders, like
Mhm.
really, really tiny, but like
All
my
right,
main,
so you went from Pinelanders and then went
yeah,
travel because Howell and Pinelands, their travel programs one where the rec program is separate. Okay.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
I used to coach at Howell in Howell Soccer Club, but that was long before you. Did you play any other sports when you were younger?
Yeah, so I also did basketball when I was younger, played travel throughout and a little bit for middle school, and then just continued it on to high school.
Okay. What made soccer be, your, passion?
I think a lot of it was a little bit of the influence of, my family. We're a very big soccer family. I think just, and also the game itself, it's very different from basketball. And I think the way you can build up a play and just create in soccer, it's very different from basketball. And I like it a little more. So, yeah.
It's be I actually just saw a clip on Instagram with Joe Rogan commenting how much fit soccer players are compared to other the amount of running and
Yeah.
people complain about the sport, but it's a tough sport. It's a
Yeah,
tough sport. Just
definitely.
because it's 1-0 doesn't mean it's not an exciting game.
Exactly, exactly. Definitely it's the build up that gets that point that really like makes the game interesting.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have an older sister. She used to play soccer, basketball, and she did a little track. She ran, she's pretty fast. So yeah.
How old is she?
She's 19. She goes to the
Oh,
University of Tennessee.
uh,
Yeah.
my basketball podcast partner, if he listens to this, he'll be very excited. He went to University of Tennessee and he always wears his Vols gear.
Oh yeah. Very
So
popular school for sure.
were you two very competitive growing up?
I wouldn't say so. And this is not a dig at her at all. I just think that I had a little more drive. Like that was
Okay.
just sports were very
Yeah.
much like my life, and she wasn't into it as much. So I kind of dominated in that sense of her life. But yeah,
Everyone has their own passions and love.
right,
So
right.
now, you brought up, family. How have your parents helped you? And, you said that, do they have a soccer background too growing up?
Yeah. So both of them played were goalies actually
Okay.
when they played for their teams. They definitely did help me develop, although they weren't like my position that I am
Mhm.
now. They kind of like helped me with snippets throughout the way, but let me learn from other people. So I get the whole like well-rounded experience. So yeah.
I get, being goalies and, you're what, center mid mostly, right? I mean, at least for how, I don't know what you might play for your
Right.
club team. We'll get into that. But I mean, it can help, with, how to attack the goalie and stuff, with that background that could come in
Yeah.
handy. And
Absolutely.
and a lot of people say goalies make the best coaches actually.
Yeah, they
kind
see
kind of
the
like
whole field.
catchers for baseball. So
Yeah, they see the whole field, get to like see what's going on that most people on the field can't. So
now, you said you were 5. You started Pinelands. Do you remember who your very first coach was in rec?
yeah, so my very first coach, his name is Coach Pete. Um, so that was him, and then once I transitioned to travel, I had a coach named Coach Doug. Yeah.
Coach Doug. How long were you? Did you play travel for Howell before you moved on to one of the academies?
Oh boy, that was a while.
Okay.
I would say about 5 to 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I was out there for a while.
How did Coach Doug? You said Doug was. How did
Yeah.
he help you? You know, get better or improve?
Um, it's one thing that I think people take for granted a little bit is that he did help me use my left foot more. Like at that young age, I feel like we don't learn as much. We're learning the skills rather than using like both feet. But I'm dominant. I'm on the right side, but he kind of like being on the left wing. That was my first position ever, being on the left wing. Kind of showed me like that I can use my left foot and use both to control the game a little bit. So definitely in that like that's like something that stuck out to me for that coach.
It's funny you said that yesterday. My niece had trained. She did one-on-one training and left foot. That was what they worked on a lot. Because they were doing shooting training, and she's a right foot dominant, and they worked on your left. So especially soccer, you need to be able to use both, especially at the level you're going to be playing at when you get to college.
Right. Agreed.
Now, after Howell, you went to is it Cedar Stars you're on? Is it Cedar
Yeah.
Stars?
Yep.
Okay. Anything in between, or just you went from Howell to Cedar Stars?
LSU stars kind of like smooth transition there.
Who
Yeah.
who's your coach at Cedar Stars?
Yeah. So now I have two coaches. They kind of like switch back and forth. I have a guy named Coach Greg and a guy named Coach G. So pretty cool.
How have they helped you, take your game to the next level?
So I would say like just going back a little bit at Howell, I don't think I learned a lot of tactics and the IQ of the game. I
Mhm.
think once I got into Cedar Stars, I started learning and seeing that, not the game isn't all physical. It's definitely a little more mental, and you have to learn how to move throughout the field, especially being as a center mid. So they definitely did see that. More so, my coach, he's not there anymore. He's at a different location of Cedar Stars, but his name's Coach Joe. He helped me the most with that, especially in being a center mid. Showed me the positioning and told me that like my mental game is very important.
Especially at center mid. Your IQ has to be very, very high, and if you have a very high IQ can make up if you're not the fastest or strongest.
Yeah,
If you have a very good IQ, you can make up for that
yeah.
on the field. So I'm glad you brought that up because you never really, when I do these interviews, I've been doing a few years now, never really heard, the IQ, player bring up IQ. So that's
Yeah.
great. Did you mostly play? I mean, I heard you said you played a little wing too, but the center midfield mostly where
Yeah.
you've played, no defense.
No, not really at all. I mean, like I think like tight situations I definitely could be put in other positions, but center mid was kind of the place I found. I like creating, creating was like my favorite, still is my favorite thing, being on both ends of the ball.
That's the best part.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
All right, let's talk about high school. You're going into high school. Could be a little overwhelming at first as a freshman, especially soccer is a fall sport. Your first day of school, and you got
Right.
soccer too. What goals did you set for yourself when you first entered high school that you wanted to accomplish?
So starting out as a freshman, obviously I think that's everybody's goal to like become on the varsity, go on the varsity team. That's definitely my first goal. And then after that, my biggest goal was to, become a prominent starter and a prominent player in the field. Like I said, favorite thing is creating. So wanted to be on both ends of the ball and show that like I'm not going to be just a filler in.
Mhm.
I want to be impactful.
Now you did make varsity, freshman, you were on the varsity team. Did you start as a freshman?
I did. Yes.
Okay. So you're going to be a four-year starter.
Yeah.
That's a good accomplishment. Now, your freshman year was COVID year, correct?
Yeah. That was an interesting year.
Did you think that was a season was going to happen?
I definitely questioned it, considering the fact that everything was really confusing at the time and nobody knew what was
No,
going
but
on. But finding out it actually was happening was really cool. But playing like in a season where it's contact, and then having to adjust to having to separate 6 feet apart from everybody and having to just pass and do these things, definitely a little weird, but I'm happy it happened.
yeah, and probably. I mean, you had a little advantage because you were coming in from eighth grade. Probably, for kids that were already there, it was just probably completely different than what they were used to.
Yeah,
Especially the summer
exactly.
off-season programs and stuff like that. So you said, you wanted to make varsity as, freshman. Any upperclassmen that helped you, your freshman year?
Yeah, so I had two upperclassmen that kind of stuck out to me. One of them was named Mackenzie Bruno, and the other one
Uh,
was named Caitlin Gretzko. I don't know if you ever remember
I,
them, but
I interviewed Gresco, and I know both of them multi-sport athletes.
yeah, they
So
were definitely help. Like I remember like coming into it, and I got paired up in a group with them, like for a rondo or something. And they made the atmosphere very comfortable, where I wasn't so stressed because as a freshman it's intimidating, so you're
mhm.
so stressed, you're trying to prove yourself, but definitely like let the atmosphere like relax a little bit and just told me like do what you need to do and play the way you need to play, and everything will work out.
Yes. Where's Caitlin's playing? But where is she at? I forgot where she committed for basketball. She pursued
Yeah,
basketball in
yeah,
college.
she did.
Yes, yeah, I had her on probably after soccer season, her senior year. I think I had her on the podcast. So,
Yeah,
hang on, I just want to pull up your
all good. I believe it's six.
the freshman. So freshman year, you girls went 5 and so that's not freshman year.
My freshman year was
Uh,
not the greatest.
that's why. So like you were senior, 3 and 8, 3 and 8.
Yeah, we had
Uh,
a definitely a struggle. Started off in Howell, but
Now your sophomore year, Coach Miguel took over, right? Your sophomore year.
yes.
What was what was his message when he took over the program?
Uh, Sophomore year, he came in a little bit intimidating, I will say. He did say, his mentality is always like this, we're here to win. If you're not here to win, get off our wagon because we want to be competitive. We want to be challenging. And, although sophomore year was a little rocky with the pieces that we had, I think junior year, obviously we had a very big change, a very big switch.
Hmm.
But his mentality to us was always that, if you work hard, be tough, and let's win, let's go for it while having a little bit of fun while doing it. That was like his biggest goal.
Now, what I always see the biggest in high school, usually the biggest improvement, whether it's soccer or basketball, is usually sophomore to junior year. You see that big jump in improvement. Or
Yeah.
what were things you like something you really wanted to improve on, from your sophomore year to this past season?
I think something that I still need to improve on is definitely like creating more, as in like goals. I don't, and like on paper, I don't rack up a lot of goals, but I like to think that I may be able to create more goals and for myself and others. So I think that's something that I think I've improved on more, but definitely want to be more prominent about.
What do you think the big, or you could give me, or a couple of factors were that, you went from 5 wins your sophomore year to 14 wins. What do you think were the big factors? Because the team was pretty similar. You didn't really graduate a lot of kids from your sophomore year to this past season.
Yeah. So as I said before, like soccer is part physical, definitely part mental. And I think the switch of us, so I always say that like my freshman and sophomore year, Howell was known for like being like that easy game where, you have that game that everybody knows like it's kind of a given.
Hmm.
And we ourselves as a players at Howell thought that way.
Hmm.
And I think that was the biggest issue. And then having Arroyo come in, and he saw the pieces that he had, and he had confidence in us, and we believed it, and we wanted to change it. And I think that big mental switch, and that, during the summer we did a lot of work together. That big shift definitely jumped us up there.
Okay. I want to ask, a few year games here. First, let's talk the short conference tournament. What an accomplishment. Now, I know people know I say this because, preseason, I said to NJ.com, I said, watch Howell. I go, they're gonna get into the top 10 this season. I
I
go, watch
remember
it.
that.
Yep. And Brandon actually reached out towards the end of the season and basically said, I'm not gonna doubt you anymore when it comes to soccer. I just, especially when you girls played in the summer league, the good sports,
Yeah,
you look good out there.
yeah.
You had a great run, made it to the Shore Conference Finals. It was the first time in school history, right? If I remember correctly.
I believe so.
I think
Yeah,
so. I know when I was in high school, it was always St. Rose Jackson, and Middletown and Bricks
yeah.
making it, and 2000s. I don't think my sister was in the 2000s, and I don't think. But so, what does that mean being you're part of the squad? School history, making it for the first time ever, making it to the Shore Conference Finals.
How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Of course, like amazing in the sense that it's something like eye-opening, and like I said, be like having that mentality freshman year and knowing that, we're the easy game, and then transitioning to that big switch. It felt really good to know that, you know, big things can happen, and if you really put your efforts into it and get everybody together to work with each other, things can really shift. So I was really like proud of the girls, and, proud of like the community itself, because we came together, like even with the boys team. The
Yeah, because
boys
the
team,
boys played in the finals, right? Or the semi.
yeah.
Did it? Yeah,
So,
I remember
but
that.
we all came together. Like we would go to the boys' games, the boys would come to our games, and I
Yeah.
think that community built up, like just made it 10 times better. So I was really happy when that, we accomplished that.
And your team did not have the easiest of roads getting that. I mean,
No.
St. Rose the first game, but then Manalapan and you two teams know each other very well, and it's
Yeah.
tough. Tough playing teams three times. You end up squeaking the win out on the road. I think
Yeah.
you're at Manalapan. Then Point Borough, who I, were they still? I think they were still undefeated going into that game, right? Were they still
I,
undefeated going,
I
or did they?
believe so. I
They might
believe
have.
they were higher up there for sure.
Yeah, and they're like how they're a very tight knit group. That Point Borough team, playing with each other since they were little kids. So
Yeah.
you beat them, who they were off. They had their biggest win beating RBC just around before, and then your rival Freehold. Great game though. You lost 3-0 in the regular season. But I thought that game, that call in the box, I think changed that momentum in that game because I
Yeah.
I was next to a real parent, and even that parent was like, I don't think you, because it was shoulder to shoulder,
Yeah.
that foul, and that made it two.
Yep.
The penalty kick made it 2-0, and
Right.
that was it. But you girls played your hearts out. Just talk that last game, that freehold game in the final. What were your feelings when national anthem plays, rosters are announced, and the ref blows the whistle to start? What were your feelings right when the game was kicking off?
I
And it was a
was,
nice sized crowd for the Howell group.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I will say I was I mean, every game is new, and every game is always going to bring some sort of outcome that you don't know what's going to happen. I always have like a little nervous feeling, because I want to make sure that we get our result at the end of the day, and we work hard for it. So getting onto that field was very nerve wracking. And on top of it, with everybody being there, and, your adrenaline's going, and knowing how, competitive Freehold and our team has been, I was just thinking, let's try getting the job done. Let's just do it. Let's go out there. We got nothing to lose, and Yeah, that's basically it.
And then after that state finals, I call Central Jersey Group Four. That's the group of death. That Central Jersey Group Four, like World Cup, you got the groups, between
Yeah.
Freehold, Howell, Manalapan's in, it you made it. You play Rancocos Valley, who almost beat Freehold the year prior. So,
Yeah.
no, they got the big commit going to Alabama. They're a legit squad. But just how the mentality going into states compared to years prior. Just talking, how good if knowing that there's expectations now. It's not just, hey, we're in states first round, we're leaving. Now there's expectations. Hey, we want to get to play
Right,
Freehold again.
right, right. That yeah, that was like our mentality going into it was mine specifically is like we weren't done. I knew
Mhm.
like when we were going to states, like we're not done. We need to show ourselves. So going into it, like same thing all year round. The mentality of work hard, let's work together, let's enjoy it, and let's go after it. And knowing that the teams that we were playing were different, and the standard that they had, I think it made us all want to work even harder than what we had already done in that season.
So next season, you graduate a couple, key pieces, with Allie, Riley, but you do
Yeah.
have a good core coming back. You're solid. What 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 goals first do individual? What goals do you have? You're going to be senior. One of the leaders. What goals do you have? And more importantly, what do you hope to pass down to the underclassmen?
Yeah. So for myself as an individual player, um, I want to definitely score more goals. I think I have it. I want to have it in me to do it. Like I said, and be more present on the field. Like I said, that's one of my biggest things, and that's something I would probably always say until I end. Stop playing soccer. For the team, I want to really keep that standard to a certain degree. I want to keep working hard. I want us to keep. No, we're not like. I don't think we're like the gimme game anymore. I don't want to be like that. I want us to keep showing people that you come into Howell High School for girls soccer, you have to work for it. I definitely want to keep that mentality. And one thing that off the field and on the field, the atmosphere with the girls, the way we communicated, the way we interacted was different than I had saw in my previous years. And then one thing I definitely do want to pass down to the people, like people coming in, is our reputation. I don't want to have this low standard anymore. I want to keep us at a place where showing people that we want to work. So
Yeah,
that's really
that
what
how top 10. We want to be top 10 sure all the time now.
I think
That's
that's honestly if we always Howell has always worked with the pieces that they've had. Whether it can vary a lot from different years. And I think we can do it. And sports, like especially with Arroyo, he's got this great mentality, and he's tough on us in a good way where we want to work for him, and I hope to keep that the same way.
before we talk about college, I'm ready for some rapid fire questions.
Let's do it. Oh
Okay.
gosh.
All right. All right. Favorite movie?
Rocky movies.
Rocky. Yeah, I just watched Creed 3.
Oh, how was that good?
It wasn't one of the best, but it was good.
Yeah.
They set up for some things that for future, but I'm not gonna give that much away.
Right.
What I really enjoyed that movie Air that about Nike, how they
Yeah.
pursue Jordan. Very very good. So if you have,
Oh,
it's on Prime right now, so
yeah.
I
I want
recommend
to
that.
watch it so bad.
How about TV show?
Friends.
Okay, going back to my days. Favorite food?
Oh gosh, I eat everything. I don't have a favorite. I'll be honest. I
Yeah.
eat every cuisine, anything.
School subject.
Math.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite number?
Okay, so this one's a little tricky because it's either 10 or 17. It's one of those two.
I know 10. Why 17?
So 10, I've had that my whole career pretty much, but then
Center mid. You got it.
yeah. And then on top of it, when I went from Howell was like my number 10 number, and
Hmm.
going to Cedar Stars, I had to change my new number. But I like knowing that I learned a lot of different the whole a whole different version of the game at Cedar Stars and at Howell. And I think both those numbers are very important to me. So I kind of like having both as my lucky number.
Okay, good. What um this is a question my partner that I work with for basketball always asks. You warming up on the field or the court for basketball, what's your go-to song to pump you up?
I like I don't this is not really like a pump up song, but the song Gold Digger by Kanye. I don't know what it is. That beat that beat behind the song makes me like, yeah, this is good.
Um, do we want to talk about basketball? I don't. Hang on, let me pull up basketball real quick. We'll just talk basketball real quick.
Ask questions, go for it.
Coach Santo,
Yeah.
buddy. Now you girls had all right, 20 and 8 for basketball.
Yeah.
That's
Had a
just
solid season as well.
Trinity Hall had your number though.
Yeah. They were every time we
Nina's
played.
tough.
Yeah, they were definitely tough. Yeah, tough game. Always. But I feel that we always had it right there. And
Hmm.
sometimes some things don't work out, but it's cool to learn and see new. I learned a lot from watching those games and playing in those games. Definitely.
Just real, the only question I'll have it at just there's multiple soccer players on the team. Public schools you see that you definitely you never see that in private schools, but public schools you see that. That's if being on the court, with your soccer teammates.
Yeah. So I love it because I know how they are as players both on soccer and basketball, and they have the same kind of body movements and how they play. So it's really fun to have that connection still going into a different sport. And on top of it, like it's funny because sometimes we'll be on the court all at once. It's sometimes rare, but having all of us on the court as once, it's like, what just happened? It's really funny.
Only two. Carrie's a senior, so
Hmm.
most of your team's coming back for basketball too. Yeah,
Yeah.
improve. Make a little noise in the short conference tournament.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's talk college real quick. So you committed to Colgate. What was it about Colgate that you liked?
So
It could be
there's three.
education or soccer,
Yeah.
whatever you want to go
Yeah.
for.
So there's like three main factors. Soccer, of course. I went when I went for my visit, I got to see the whole day and how they run their days and function. And, they have very high competition, which is something I always want to like improve at and want to go to the highest, like my highest potentials I want to reach. And, seeing the girls and how they work hard in the field, but they have a little fun off the field, which is perfect because you need that balance. And the
Hmm.
coaches, I've had like a really good connection with them ever since. And it's really fun to meet them, and they're very fun as well. So, and then one other factor is definitely the education because it's very high education.
Yeah.
And I know at the end of the day, like I'm going to get to where I need to go with this school. And one thing is the location. Most people don't like it because it's in the middle of nowhere, but I kind of like being in the middle of nowhere. It's like I think it's like a ski lodge. So it's beautiful, and I think it's just a well-rounded school, and I'm very happy to be there.
Where's Colgate located again?
It's in New York. Yeah,
Okay.
like western part. Mhm.
Okay. Um, I know one of the times we were basketball, I think junior this year. I think she was a junior, close to Colgate. Um,
That's awesome.
Patriot conference, right? They're in the Patriot
Yeah,
conference. It's a tough conference,
yeah,
So, and all
yeah.
those schools,
But I don't know.
education wise, all those schools are very, very high.
Yeah,
Do you know what you want to study?
yeah. So specifically at Colgate, I'm thinking of going bio, but later in life, I want to do something in the medical field. So I'm probably gonna have to go to graduate school after, but I think bio is where I'm gonna start.
Like doctor or nurse or like that?
Yeah, definitely want to go into some. I don't know exactly what yet because there's so many options, and I don't know what I'm most comfortable in. So, but somewhere around those lines.
Two more questions.
Yeah.
When your soccer, competitive playing career is over, would coaching or training little kids or any level be something you'd be
Yeah.
interested in?
I would love to do it. I don't know how good I'd be at it because, being at like a player, you think in different ways, and the game is always changing into this
Always.
modern day thinking and playing. So, but I think get after playing, going back and coaching would be a fun way to keep connection with the sport.
And last advice, what of advice? I give you a question. What advice would you give your younger self?
Yeah. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's advice from me, but I think it's more of enforcement because I've gotten this advice throughout my whole life. And one thing is like nothing is given, it's earned 100%. You got to work for what you want. And that's always been kind of like drilled into my head. And I want to enforce it even more because good things will happen at the end of the day when you work hard and be yourself. Because I think a lot of people lose themselves in this modern world with these fake ideas and at least idealistic ideas, of yourself and all the social media and stuff, but
Mhm.
knowing like be yourself and you'll be very happy. So I think those two ideas are like something I should definitely enforce like younger kids. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Jade, I appreciate you taking time out today. I know soccer season's getting very, very busy with tournaments and
Yeah.
cups and stuff like that. So I appreciate you taking time out today, and I look forward to the fall opening day, Brick Memorial. You're thrown right
Yeah.
into it
Yeah.
because they got a lot of players returning too, and
Yeah.
they've been in the top 10 the last couple of years, staying there. So that I posted actually on Twitter yesterday because I saw, Howell posted theirs and Freehold posted the schedules. And, Freehold Middletown South, which is always a tough, hard fought game, and Howell and Brick Memorial.
Yeah.
So we're starting off already. I'm not gonna know what game to go to opening day. So
Tough game, but definitely gonna we want to keep the same mentality. We're
yeah,
gonna push for it for sure.
yeah. You get there once, now you gotta win that
Keep
last one.
going.
Yep.
That's right. Gotta keep going.
So, well, I wish you, luck. You'll definitely see me at the fields, and good
Absolutely.
luck this spring season.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem.